I'm Cindy Farrell from the Financial Aid Office. Stace, would you like to introduce?
I'm Stacey Yake. I'm from Student Accounts Office.
And we'd like to make this, we're just going to touch on a few things that are going on now, some little pointers that we'd like to share with everyone, and then we'll leave this open for questions that you might have specifically. If there are questions that are specific to you, we'll set up an arrangement to talk privately. We know that everybody's situation is a little different, so it's sometimes hard you don't want to get into a lot of the details in a group chat like this, but we'll make arrangements to meet with you or email with you, whatever works best to answer some of your individual questions. So I guess I probably will get started here if you don't mind. I just wanted to mention a few things that we'd like to make everyone aware of. Most of our communication, because of the situation we're working in, most of us are working remotely. So phone calls have been a little more difficult. We try to make calls, return calls when we can, when we're on campus, but a lot of us are working from home and don't have the phone access. So what we're depending a lot on the email right now. We don't do, and I think I speak for Stacey and myself, or for the two offices, we don't do a lot of texting necessarily. Most of what we use for communication purposes are going to be emails. So please check your emails. If we're sending out information to the student and we have a parent email address, we're going to be sending to both of you from the Financial Aid Office. Through our system, we have access to both student and parent emails if they were provided on the FAFSA. So we're going to be sending a copy to both the student and the parent. The state government, the federal government, unfortunately, only corresponds with the student. So you need to make your sons and daughters aware that if they get an email from FEA, the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency, or from the Department of Education, that they need to share that with you so that you're aware of what's going on. Like I said, the governments do not necessarily send directly to the parents. If they have a question, they go to the student and expect the student to then go through the parent to get the answers if that's what's necessary. Most students, we've done great. We've had a great response in getting the FAFSAs filed this year. As many of you know, Pennsylvania did extend their deadline to May 15th. So if you're a PA resident and you have not filed, you've missed the deadline for this year. But they did extend the deadline to May 15th this year, so that gave families a little more time to get the FAFSA completed. And we're working on packages now. They're going out daily. Some of you may have gotten them. I know we've gotten some back already. Many of you will be getting them in the next few days because the bulk has gone out this week. So watch for those in the mail. Again, they're going to be addressed to the student. It's the financial aid package. We also are sending out emails regarding verification. As some of you may know, there's a random selection process done by the federal government that selects students to be verified, the financial information to be verified. To do that, often we have to collect copies of a tax return, and we're using, for the fall 20, the federal government, the FAFSA is using 2018 tax information. So if you're getting a verification, remember we're going back 2 years for tax information instead of using the current 19 tax returns that you just filed. But watch your emails, as I said, for those verification instructions. We cannot process or draw down any kind of funds for you. If you're selected for verification and we don't complete that, we can't get your money for you until that's completed. If you have questions, please email us, call and leave a message. We do check our messages and we'll get back to you if you have specific concerns. If you did not use the data retrieval tool when you filled out the FAFSA, you can go back into the FAFSA and draw down your tax information using the data retrieval tool. That eliminates us having to collect some of the tax information. So I just wanted to make sure that you were watching for those emails. They've been going out since January. We found a number of folks that had gotten an email maybe in January or February and missed it somehow. So they're going back and we're resending if need be. So if you can't find them, let us know. We'll resend that information to you. As I said, also watch for any emails or have your sons and daughters watch for emails from FIA. The federal verification that we do through Thiel is only for federal purposes. The state does their own verification. They don't verify everyone, but they can randomly select as well. So you could get a separate email from the state asking for additional information. You want to make sure you provide that or the file will remain inactive and they won't make a state grant award. We were told that the state was going to start sending out announcements this week, the week of June 8th. So some of you may have gotten the announcement from the state. If not, again, they're going to be they're sending those out through emails. So you'll want to watch for any emails from the state to find out about the status of the state grant if you're a PA resident. Again, the federal government can also send notices to you. They will only go to the student. They will not be sent to the parent. So watch for those things as well. As I said, we're sending out the award letters now. We do ask that your son or daughter sign and return a copy. There are 2 copies, one for you to keep, one to sign and return to us. If there's anything on the award letter you do not wish to keep, if there's a student loan and you're not going to need that this year, simply draw a line through that, initial it, and return that to us. That tells us you've declined. We won't process, go any further with that process for you. And then, as the next step after your award letter, you'll be getting billing information, and I think Stacey is going to give you some additional information about what's going to be happening with the billing.
Want me to do that now?
If you would like, that'd be great.
Okay, sure. Like I said, I'm Stacey Yake. I'm from the Student Accounts Office, and we're getting ready to be mailing bills out on Monday. They'll start. The payment this year will be due July 15th. It's been moved up a little bit because we're starting earlier, so we need to have everything in place a little bit earlier this year. We have a new online payment portal that you can access to make one-time payments and to set up, if you choose to, or doing our 5-pay plan, you can set it up on the portal. The portal is located on the student accounts page, which you can get to just by going to the Thiel website, thiel.edu/offices/student-accounts. But you can also search the offices at the top of the page. Also, one other thing I wanted to add was with the room and board credits, if people have them, they're going to be listed at the top of your statement in the previous balance, so you can track it there. We wanted to let everybody know that if you're doing a private loan, and you're doing it for the year, your amounts are going to be lopsided. It's going to be less in the fall. So if that's the case, then you can give us a call and we can kind of try and help you figure out, how much you're going to need for the spring, just to kind of estimate. And so we're not dealing with reapplying for more loan in the second semester. That's all I have to say. So, I can take any questions, that anybody has. If you want to say it out loud, or if you want to put it in the chat, or, that's up to you.
Stacey, Cindy Chapman calling. My daughter Anna is a student. You said it can be found on the student page?
The student accounts page.
Okay, wonderful. And thank you so much for the online paying. We're thrilled.
Yes,
So
we've been working on it since September. So yeah, we're all very excited about it. It makes it easier for everybody.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. I see questions on the side. How much is tuition this year? Bills are going out, so the tuition costs have been updated on the website. So offhand, I'd have to pull everything out, but they are updated on the website with the current costs. Is there any way that I can check my full balance of student loans that I currently would owe? You're muted.
Thank you. I was trying to be quiet while you were talking, so I forgot that I'd muted myself. Your student loans, you can check the amount of your student loans at any time. The student can, or the parent, by going to the NSLDS website. The student loans, there's the federal student loan website, and you log in with your FSA ID, student or the parent, and you'll get a summary of all of your information, any of your loan information that you've had during, you're at Thiel. If the student was anyplace else, it gives you your total history. And for the question, the tuition is $15,845 per semester.
Thank you. I didn't know it offhand.
I just said, I know the yearly amounts, and that's going to be for the comprehensive tuition, 12 to 18 credit hours.
How much did that go up from last year? Did that go up from last year since we're cutting the amount of time at the school?
The amount of time,
Meaning the semesters counted is ending in November versus December?
it's my understanding, excuse me, that even though the dates are more compound, we've shortened the dates, the actual time spent is going to be the same. They're cutting out, there's no fall break. There'll be classes on Labor Day. They're doing, the students are still going to have the same number of instruction hours. They're just going to be concentrated into a shorter amount of time.
So I asked this question when Mike McKinney was talking with us. What are we doing about courses of study that require labs? Because my daughter is a neuroscience major, and there's some question about a couple of her classes not being existent because of labs. So I guess my question would be is what is Thiel going to do for her so she has a class schedule? You know what I mean? And where does the lab situation fall?
I apologize, I can't answer that. I'm thinking that might be more of an academic question. I'm not sure how they handle. My understanding, I guess my impression, and this is just an assumption I guess I maybe shouldn't make, that they would still have the labs, and maybe they're going to be a longer amount of time. I don't know if Mike was able to give you that, but we could certainly contact someone, maybe, as I said, in the academic division, I'm thinking, that would be able to answer that for you.
Because spring semester classes that she had required labs. There was a chemistry lab, there was a neuroscience lab, and obviously with the students being at home, there were no labs. So, when I sent my balance in, I actually questioned about the lab fees. I guess she has to work with, I might get this wrong, so forgive me, but I think she has to work with animals or something. So I did ask this question with Mike, and there wasn't a definite answer. So I was hoping, since it's a week later, that we might have some kind of an answer now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm, as I said, I have not been privy to that, but we are all kind of in our own, because we're not here on campus all together like we usually are, and we have more opportunity to share those things. We're trying to do that amongst ourselves as best we can, but I've noticed there's some things that we're just not able to be as up to date on as we usually are.
Mm-hmm.
That we're all together. But I can I think I see, this is Kathy.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Let me see what I can find out. I have your name, and let me find out, ask certain, hopefully the right people to get the right answer, and then get back to you directly and let you know where we stand with that.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. This is such a true blessing to be able to find some information out. I'm so glad that we are able to do this with you guys.
Well, this is, I will tell you, I think Stacey will share with me that this is not our first choice. This is new to us, and we're a little
behind the scenes.
I understand that. So having the job that I do in service, basically, because I'm a nurse, like you guys, I would rather just come see you. I'm a personable, people person. But with all the uncertainties that still are out there with us, including me, who's still in medicine, this is a great avenue that I've learned how to function my way through with having other meetings this way. So I'm just very thankful that the college is actually doing this to help parents understand and figure out what's happening moving forward.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think it's been well received. We seem to have had a lot of interest.
Mhm.
And it is like, I was not typically a Zoom person, or did web meetings much, but we've all come a long way with this, and I think this is, you can answer a lot of people's questions at the same time by doing these kinds of things. So hopefully you ask a question, somebody else is maybe wondering the same thing.
Correct. And of course, I'm sure we can always reach out to you, Stacey, like once that bill comes, if there's like something that I don't understand, or if I need to figure something out. I'm pretty sure you've always been welcome to me calling you and asking you and figuring things out as well.
Yep, at any time. I mean, even if we're not in the office, I'm only in the office like not every single day, but if you leave a message, I'll call you back, either from home, my cell phone, or email is always quickest, but you can call and I can call you back as we've done in the past. That's fine. Anybody can.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. I see a question on the side from Emily Baker. She said, I got the financial aid to-do list in the mail, and it says about calling and scheduling an appointment to discuss payment plans. Do we have to do this just if we are unsure of how to pay for school year, or once we get our account statements? That's pretty much what we just kind of wanted to open it up, that you call, since it's a new setup with payment plan, if you need help. I know some people have already accessed the online portal, not for payment plans, but just for payments. So I'm thinking it's pretty user friendly. But if you don't need to talk about it, you don't have to. That's strictly up to you. We just want you to know that we're available, to discuss anything you have.
Hey, Stacey, I might have missed this because I didn't get to connect immediately at 1 o'clock. So when will you might have already said this, so all the grants and all that their stuff, when we would actually know information? Because I know we have to update FAFSA, but are we going to know in time, considering that first payment is due basically within 1 month? Are we going to know about those answers yet about grants or anything?
Yes. Yeah, we're doing, I've been working on the process now, and then I'm supposed to be creating bills on Monday. So they should go out Monday and Tuesday. So you should have plenty of time, to figure things out.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sure there's other questions we need to answer.
There's a question about the meal plan. And again, to the best of my knowledge, all of the meal plan will be the same. You can choose the 19 meal plan per week. We can, you can adjust your meal plan according to what the student prefers. And I'm assuming, Stacey, does that go out with would that be through Student Life?
You mean like how like the different meal plan choices? Yeah, it's available usually. I don't know if it's available right now or not, but there's usually listed under Student Life's area under meal options. Hold on, let me look real quick. I'm not offhand sure where exactly it is. Let me look.
While she's doing that, there's another question asking about, do we have to create an FSA ID when looking at student loans, or do we already have one? The FSA ID, both the student and parent should have an FSA ID. That's the same password and username that you use to sign the FAFSA. So that FSA ID is used for filling out your FAFSA every year. It's used for students, parents or students if they're filling out loan applications, if they're looking at their loan history through the the federal student loan website. That FSA ID is used in all of those places, and it remains the same. It's good for, well, it used to be up to 10 years. So it's typically the same ID that you would use every year, unless you would choose to change it for some reason. But that should be the same ID, the same login that you use when you complete the FAFSA.
I was just looking on the Thiel site, meal plans. If you go under across the top, there's a couple of different options. If you click on Campus Life and then scroll down on the right-hand side, it says Food Services. That's where you can see the different meal plan options. But as far as the limit to the students in the cafeteria, if there's other options, I think everybody, like the administration's working on a plan as to how we're going to take care of that. There's Bob. Maybe he can enlighten us on that.
I can maybe answer that question. In fact, I just traded an email with our regional manager from AVI, and he just now came back from furlough. So we are trying to schedule a meeting with him next week, and also with our on-site manager to look at the physical layout in the dining room and how we're going to rearrange that, and other factors that we'll take into consideration for serving. So all of that is in the works, and because we work with an outside vendor, they have experience with what they're doing at other institutions as well. So we'll have a good plan in place by the time students return.
And there's a question about the meal plan from the spring. And as a part of, in the spring, you would have gotten, maybe Stacey can answer this better, but there were refunds sent to all of the students who had been using campus for either dormitories and meal plans, and there was a calculated that by the number of days that you did not use the dormitory or the meal plan, there was a refund sent home, and that was included. The board, and sometimes we talked about this before, you'll get information that says this is your room and board refund. People sometimes don't realize the board is the meal plan. So the refund that you received for your room and board charges from the spring is the credit that you're going to see on your first billing statement. That was, you were credited that, and you're going to have that credit at the beginning of the fall term. Is that right, Stace?
It is, yeah. You were just calling them refunds. They weren't refunds. They were just credits. But yeah, which at first went, if you had any past, if an unpaid balance, it went towards that first. But yeah, I mean, it was a prorated amount that we credited to the account.
I will say, and I don't directly deal with this on a daily basis, but campuses, for those students who typically work on campus, I would maybe email your work supervisor to see verify that you're coming back, and if there's everything is set up, if there's anything that needs to be done. I know that the work study application is available online if the student has not worked in the past or wants to be considered for campus employment. It's my understanding that campus employment will go on much like it has in the past. So again, if students have worked on campus and you want to continue to do that, maybe reach out to your work supervisor and just verify with them that you're interested in coming back, or you're planning to be back and interested in working. The endowed scholarships, some of them are going to be included in the financial aid packages that are going out. As you know, over the summer, we sometimes will get additional information, and some of those awards still have to be made, so you will get updated information on any of those things as well.
I think Kathy had another question. Do we have a definite start date? Classes are starting August 17th. I don't know about athletes, truthfully. I think, isn't Amy Schaefer having a town hall also, Cindy?
I believe
Oh, there's
so.
Bob again.
I was under the impression the athletes came back the same time as, that everyone was coming back at the same time. Is that right, Bob?
We're not sure, because we are waiting for direction from the athletic conference on how that's going to be structured. And we just don't know, because different schools are doing it in different fashions, and we want to make sure that everyone gets the equal opportunity for preseason practice and that sort of thing. So we're working through that right now. There are some strategies that are being formulated, and we should have that answer probably within the next week or so.
Okay, thank you.
As in everything else, we're kind of taking it day by day, because someone keeps changing a rule or a requirement, and so we're trying to keep adjusting as best we can
Okay.
to meet all of those things. We all wish we knew what was going to happen.
We knew that. We could predict what happens every day in our life, right? Seriously. I totally get it. I was just wondering, because they're going back a little bit early. She usually goes back this early because of sports, and there was some mention about potentially like August 10th through the 12th or something, maybe for athletes. And I'm thinking, okay, so I wish that all the colleges go back as early as you guys, so that she has to go that early, or do I hope that they don't, so she stays with the being back right before the 17th classes? I wasn't really sure if we had a definite yet, just so I could plan to help her move in. I'm actually allowed to help her move in, right? Because there's supposed to be some limit on how many people come, but I could be one person that helps her with that kind of stuff.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
That there was they can have one person. I know when they were coming to collect their belongings, they were limiting to, one person to help. I'm guessing that it probably will be much the same when they move back in.
All right.
The good news is that Greenville Mercer County we've been very lucky, and we've had very low numbers, and we kind of feel like this is a safety place. Once they get here, we're in a pretty safe environment.
Actually, you prompted a question with that. I do know that I've been keeping kind of tabs on you guys as well as Clarion, because we've had low numbers as well. Has there been a thought process for you guys as a college to like test the students coming in? I know that keeps coming up in my work environment, and they haven't decided to test healthcare workers yet, even though we've been in the environment. Has anybody said anything to you guys about that happening as students coming back to the college, that they need to be tested?
I can maybe answer that question. In cabinet, we've been going back and forth on what the protocols will be, And we have a specific group that's working through what our opening is going to look like, and if we're going to do testing throughout the semester. A lot of institutions right now are still struggling with that same issue. We're waiting for guidance from the Pennsylvania Department of Education on that. So we're trying to address what will be the best way to do it, the most economical way to do it, to ensure that our students and our campus community is safe. So we continue to work through that and have a specialized group on campus that is addressing that issue.
Thank you.
I do have an answer for you. While we were talking, I sent a message to the academic dean on the issue of labs, and her response is, much like Cindy said, they're still working on it. They plan to be face-to-face with lower caps to allow for distancing in the labs. So they're working through how that structure is going to be.
Okay, so then the classes would have the labs. They just have to restructure. Okay.
Right, right.
Okay. And if for some reason they couldn't have a class because it required a lab, I'm pretty sure, I believe you guys would all help her adjust
Right.
it. So to like have a class that she can have, that would be, so she's not behind, you know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
So kind of to go along with one of the questions we just had about arrival there and testing, we're from another state and we'll be flying our daughter there once we know what date. We'll be purchasing those tickets, but I'm not quite sure what your state's requirements are right now. We're coming from Alaska, so we'll be flying through several states and lengthy flight. Once we get there, is there like a self-quarantine time period or testing mandatory documents that you have to bring with you?
I'm not aware of any, and to some degree it will be up to each educational institution what their protocols will be. We have talked about that in reference to athletes, for example, and UPMC, who provides our athletic training services, has given us a suggested protocols to follow. And some of those do have not necessarily quarantines, but waiting periods. And we're still working through those to determine what would be the best for Thiel.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, she is one of the student athletes that we're waiting for dates on that as well. So once we
Right.
have, we could probably figure out a little bit better what we're supposed to do, I'm sure.
No other questions from anyone?
There was a question, Cindy, on do we have a date or what the December online classes will be. I can tell you what I know, which isn't much. There will be some session in December. It will be a completely online session from what I understand. And it will start the Monday after Thanksgiving, and it will go through December 18th. That's a pretty short period, so it will be rather intensive, but it would give students an opportunity to pick up some additional credits. And from what I understand, there will not be a charge for those credits, and students would have the opportunity then to pick up another class if they chose to do so.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Miss Farrell, how are you? This is Shalay Cameron. This is Tyreek Costin's mother.
Oh, hi, how are
And
you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Just getting over some surgery on my way to the doctor right quick. So I said, let me get in. And I couldn't get in because I was using a 0 instead of the letter O. But my question is this. Tyreek was 7 credits short of graduating as a senior. So he has 120 hours credit. He needs to take 7. He's registered for the courses. He's actually doing an internship right now. So we need to know that rate for that internship. I think I was quoted $400 per credit hour. So that's $1,200. And we're trying to figure out if he can get an apartment or come back on campus just for those 4 or 5 months.
It would be I mean, it's my understanding, yes, he could live on campus for the 1 semester. Now you're talking the fall semester?
Yes, August 17th is when he is to report back.
Okay, yes, he could, and he would need to contact Student Life, and they can help him get housed for the fall. He can be here for just 1 semester. That's not a problem. And
Okay.
it's good. Now, is he going to be, and we can talk, maybe I'll shoot him an email, or the 2 of you, just to make sure I fully understand. He will only be part-time in the fall. Is he going to pick up extra credits?
Well, that's the thing. That's what we're trying to decide, because he don't need but 7 hours, and he would get those 7 hours in that fall time frame. But if he has to find a place to stay, he may pick up extra credits, and then he becomes a full-time student to be eligible to stay on the campus.
Okay.
So I didn't know which way that went and which way the charge goes,
Okay. I'll tell you what. I will pull together some different numbers for him and email those to you if he is going to be part-time or full-time, and then you
Yes,
can
please.
decide what's going to work out best for you.
So the other question I have is, so if I go out to FAFSA, do I put in for the whole school year, or they'll just do part of the year, or because he should finish in November?
Right. As far as completing the FAFSA, if you do the FAFSA, it's going to be for the full year regardless. And then the school will just identify which specific terms the students enrolled in. But
Okay.
so the FAFSA, if you're looking at, but then once we determine the cost, if you're looking at any kind of student loans, then we would do that just for the semester, and we can talk about that in more detail once we know what we're dealing with.
Okay, great. I'm almost at my doctor's appointment. I'm gonna drop off, but I will be in touch. It was great talking to you all, and I appreciate the communications that you all are giving. So it's keeping me informed, because Tyreek hasn't talked as well to me. Orders, I am coming back to Maryland
I think we lost you.
this month. So looking. No, sorry. Yeah, but I'm on my way. I'm just got orders. So I've been here for 3 years in Florida, because he's in the other one was in Virginia. So you all, Miss Farrell.
You take care of yourself now. Not sure if we've lost touch or not. Anyone else with a question?
There's a question. Do we have a date for the RAs? I don't think that we've gotten that. I don't know if Bob knows anything, but no, I haven't. I'm sure Student Life will be in touch with everybody to, let you know if there's an early move-in or how you guys are handling that.
Yeah, I would check with Student Life. They would be the ones that would know best.
I just, when that question came up, I called Mike McKinney, and he said They don't have a firm date yet, but he said it would not be before the 10th of August. So in that time frame.
Good to know.
These have been really informational. I watch the other town meetings that the other departments have, and it really does help us know what's going on as well, so that we can use that information in our planning. Anyone else with questions? Don't be shy. There's a question about whether students will be moving their items in before their report date. And again, I've heard different scenarios, and I don't know if that's definite yet. I think I did hear the same thing, but I don't know if that's absolutely correct. Again, student life would probably be the ones to give you that answer, and I'm sure that they're going to also be in communication with you. I know that we've been sending out parent and student newsletters that have different kinds of information regarding those things. And I was thinking that there was going to be something coming out, one of the next newsletters addressing some of those questions. I know that there's still a lot of questions, and they're trying to come up with the answers to those before we announce anything or get any, have you having to change your plans too much. But I know that they are working on that. There's another question about the award letters. A lot of the award letters have gone out. There are still some going. As I said, I have another a box on my desk to go to the post office when we're done here. So we're still working on them, hoping to have them all out by the end of this week. So by tomorrow. There may be, if you don't get one, that could mean that we haven't gotten the FAFSA information. And we have been sending emails to all of the students who have not filed, for whom we have not yet received the FAFSA, trying to make sure that information gets in and gets processed. So we will continue to do that for those students who for whom we have questions. I've come across a couple of the FAFSAs that it looks like the information may be incorrect or may need some tweaking. We will be in touch with you personally to check on those questions and try to get some clarification. We want everything to be as correct and complete as possible when we send this out to you, and I don't want to just send a number and find out that we were basing it all on incorrect data. So we will be getting those out, as I said, by the end of the week. And then if we have a question, we'll be contacting you individually. And those, as I said, those emails should go to parents and students if they're coming through the financial aid office.
Cindy and Stacey, I have an answer on the question regarding students moving things in early. I just talked to Mike McKinney, and he said that is really their hope, that they would be able to orchestrate a schedule where students could come back at different alternate times so that we don't have everybody trying to move in at the same time. Obviously, if students are from far away, they're not going to have them in that schedule. They would only have to come once. But for those that live within a reasonable distance, they'll try to work out a schedule where students could come back prior to August 17th and bring their things in. So that's their current plan.
Right.
It's like having like a magical fairy godfather here who just appears and has the answer for
And
you.
he poops in and he has the answer.
Anyone else that we can help with? we're excited about the online pay plan, as you are. Stacey's most excited, I think. And we're hoping this will make things smoother and a little easier. And we do so much online. Since we do everything online anymore, we finally hit the spot.
Wow, it's, I mean, 24/7 access. You know, you can go on in the middle of the night and make your payment. You don't have to email me to process something for you. So it just makes it easier for everybody.
I was one of those parents when my kids were in college. In the middle of the night, I'd go, "Oh, I have to pay the bill tonight." Midnight, I could go and do that. It was great. There's another question asking about if you had a loss of income and filled out the form last semester, do you need to do it again? Unfortunately, yes. Last semester was based on, it was the 1920 academic year, and it was based, starting out with 2017 tax information and doing an update based on the current situation, which was primarily 2019. Because we're in a new academic year and a new FAFSA, we're starting with a different base year, a different base tax year of 2018. So we would need to do a different special consideration form. Those forms are on the website. If you go to aid and tuition, that takes you to the financial aid page. There is a section called forms and documents. Click on that, and there is a special consideration form. I believe, just make sure you use the one for 2021. I think 1920s should be removed by now, but because the years overlap to an extent, we often will have 2 years worth of forms out there because we could be using them for a couple of different years. So you could print off the 2021 information. If you are a Pennsylvania resident, as you probably know, Pennsylvania does their own reevaluation. You would need to contact FIA directly and fill out their special consideration form or the reduced income form. And again, they have similar questions, but they're a little bit different, skewed to what they're looking for. So you would want to make sure you do both of those forms. The form online just comes to us here at Thiel, and then we can run that evaluation. If we have questions on that or problems with, if something's missing or we're not sure, we're missing documentation, we'll get back in touch with you to let you know what else we might need. There's a question asking about scholarships, saying they're having a hard time finding scholarships. Can we help with that? We try to help as much as we can. I'll tell you, I get emails almost daily from various organizations. Now, some of them are legitimate, some of them are not. So we try to be careful about what we put out there. We don't want to encourage you into something that is just trying to get your email address and phone number so that they can try to sell you something. So, but we try to scan those, check through, see which ones look to be legitimate, and any that we find, we are including in the newsletter that you get. There's a student and a parent newsletter, and it's often at the very bottom. When the students were here, I would sometimes say, just out of curiosity, did you see the scholarships that were listed in the newsletter? And they go, no, I never saw. And they had to scroll all the way to the bottom of the newsletter to see them. They weren't the first thing. They may have opened it up, saw what the headline was, and they weren't interested, so they moved on. So I would watch the parent and student newsletters. Our web design people are putting those pieces of information out there. Often it is a website that you have to go to, fill out an application. Sometimes they require essays or other documentation, but anything that we know of, we're trying to make available that way. Certainly you can continue to go online. FastWeb is probably the most well-known and the most widely used search engine for scholarships. We have students that have used that. Again, you sometimes have to apply for a lot of scholarships to get one or two, because many of these are national. What I often tell families is look locally. Do you have a community foundation? Those kinds of places will have things that are going to be more specific to you and more likely that your son or daughter might qualify to receive. So we have Mercer County Community Foundation. There's an Erie County Community Foundation. There's a foundation out of Pittsburgh. So look in they're usually a county-wide type of organization, a community foundation. Check to see if you have one in your area. Contact them for scholarship opportunities. Of course, once the students are out of high school, there aren't as many things available, or that you don't have the same access to those students in high school. But any kind of civic organization, Rotary clubs, Kiwanis clubs, Knights of Columbus, garden clubs. We've had all sorts of organizations that sponsor scholarships. If you belong to a church, many times churches will have endowed scholarship funds that are for their congregational members. Check with those people, see if there's anything, if those kinds of places, you're typically most likely to get scholarships that are more local to you. Some of the national ones are a little more difficult. The other thing are employers. We're seeing Burger King, McDonald's, Sheetz. Sheetz has a scholarship program for students that in college that work for them. Sometimes employers of the parent have scholarship opportunities. So check maybe with your employer. You can check at your local bank, at the trust department. They sometimes are the handlers for local donors who have set up scholarships for local students as well. So those are some ideas of places to look. I can't believe everyone's so shy.
Well, we could put our contact information in the chat box like we did last time with our email and phone number in case anybody, wants to reach out independently with questions.
Yeah, like I said early on, a lot of times you may have questions that you don't want to talk about in a group setting. There's something more personal or more specific to you. So certainly contact us. Stacey's much quicker at this. I'm old and
You were talking, I had time.
it takes me a while. Let me put my stuff in here.
Ladies, it's Cindy Chapman again. I'm going to get going. I have to be somewhere, but thank you so much for your information. And I think the college has been great at letting us know what's going on. And I do understand that nobody knows everything yet. So, but you've kept us informed, and that's very much appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for letting us know.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, ladies. Have a great day and the rest of your summer.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
It's great to hear live voices. We sit in our offices by ourselves all day, and
I know.
it's good to see a face, a different face and a voice.
I know. That's wonderful. Glad to be able to talk to you. Thank you again.
Anyone else we can help with anything? If we don't want to make you sit here, if we're waiting and waste your afternoon, but if there's something else, hopefully our information all came up okay.
This is definitely not a waste at all for an hour. If you guys want to talk to somebody, I'll be happy to talk to anybody, either one of you guys, whenever I get that letter. I do have one quick question. I'm just making sure. You mentioned the newsletter a couple of times. So is the newsletter like when I get an email from the president that's like telling us like what's happening at Thiel College? Like, or what is the newsletter you're talking about?
It's a little bit different.
Travoso, I got an email from Travoso about what, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like the thing that happened to the gentleman that would, that created a whole big ruckus for the whole world here,
Mhm.
that information was sent out, and how, the college is really open to every single person, no matter what their color or anything is. Is that what you're talking about when you say newsletter is an email?
No,
Or are
that's
you talking about something that actually like gets sent to my house?
it's an email,
Okay.
but it's not. It's different. The president has been sending out messages,
Yeah.
and about various things that have gone on. She had, she's had, and we've had the town meetings. This is an email.
Hi, Cindy.
Yes. Is this Dominic? Hello?
I'm sorry, I got muted for some reason.
Oh, okay.
The host has muted me. I think I can answer your question. If you've not been receiving, we send out parent communications intermittently, but usually we were trying to promote these for all of the parent emails that we have. So if you've not been receiving parent communications, send an email to I'll put it in the chat, but it's P as in Paul, R as in Robert, pr@thiel.edu, and I'll add you to the email list, and you'll start to get those communications. Right now, there's not a regular schedule, so I can't say look for one in 2 days. But
Okay.
if you don't see anything, feel free to email that pr@thiel.edu address, and that comes to my inbox. But it's easier than spelling my whole long name. But yeah, if you send an email, and I'll put it in the chat window too. So for anyone who has not been receiving parent newsletters,
Okay.
they can send an email to this address and ask to be added to the distribution list, and we'll make sure that you get them. So throughout the school year, they usually come once a month,
Okay.
a little bit less frequently in the summer, but this year is obviously extraordinary. So they've been coming at intermittent, there was one before each of these sessions. And again, I'm sorry, I'm going on and on, but the point is that I can't give you a date for when the next one comes out, but if you send an email to that address, you'll be added to the list, and you'll get all of the ones going forward.
Okay, so a message was sent via email about online meetings.
Yes.
Okay, so I got that. So I wasn't sure when she was saying that if I was part of it said,
Okay.
Join Thiel College's online meeting Thursday, get updates for.
Yep.
So I'm on your thing then anyway.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because I'm like, wait a minute, am I not?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to read every single thing between the college and my job because I'm a nurse. I'm trying to keep up on everything so that I'm, informed as well. Because since I have to be like right in the thick of it, so I guess I am on the email. My apologies.
Okay. No, that's okay.
Thank you, Dominic. I so appreciate it.
Sure. And it's a little bit muddled because typically those parent communications have been about things that are happening on campus that parents and family members might be interested in, and they've taken a bit of more utility in just announcing things. So there's a less newslettery feel to them per se. They're more of an event-driven communication right now, but we'll get back to providing news about things that students are involved in, campus
Oh, okay.
activities and as those things come back. So you can't be faulted for being a little confused because they don't really feel like newsletters at this point. They're just
Well, yeah, I thought they were informative stuff because of what happened with the whole COVID thing. And it looks
Right.
like somebody just posted something on the chat about that too, like student newsletter. I'm like, am I getting that? Because I'm not sure that I was getting that.
So yeah, and they're not posted online anywhere. They're email communications. So, but again, anybody who's got any questions about communications or things that are happening, if you email that pr@thiel.edu address, that will come to me, and I'll make sure that someone, the proper person, gets your question, or I may be the proper person for your question. So,
Okay, thank you.
sure thing.
Dominic, I do have a question. There's someone else had asked if the newsletters are online.
No, they're not. They're just email communications. So they're not stored or archived anywhere. So if you need anything, if anyone got something, they lost their email, that's an example of using that pr@thiel.edu address, and they can contact me directly to either get another copy of it or get the information, or, like I said, or I'll point them in the direction so that person can get direct answers.
Or if you're like me and you never delete a single email,
Right. I'm an email pack rat too. I have lots of messages in my email box.
It's actually kind of not good. Then I have to search for which one it was.
Right.
I say.
And I wasn't raised to be computer savvy. So guys, any of us that are in this older group here, and I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm telling you, I'm one of them. I never learned about a computer when I was in high school. So the fact that I'm actually doing a Zoom meeting and actually enjoying it is really great. And I've learned how to chat. It's excellent. So I appreciate all the feedback that you guys are trying to help us out with.
Good. Thank you.
Well, we hope it's been helpful, and we hope it, answered some questions that you had. We never know exactly what to address because we don't know exactly where you're coming from. But if, as Stacey said, if our information is here, if there's something you'd like to discuss individually, that's great. Just let us know. This will be a unique year. We're all learning a lot of different things and doing things a lot differently this year. So we'll learn together.
Do you think, is there any more of these scheduled, do you know, as of right now today? Or Cindy, do you think that I think there was 3. I think I missed the first one, and I did do student life, and then this. Is there any other topics coming up anytime soon, next week? You know what I mean? Like in a week or so that I should keep my eyes out for a message for something like this again? Or are we okay for a little bit yet until you get more information?
I was thinking there was going to be one for athletics, which you would probably.
It just posted. Looks like June 22nd. She just put that up there.
Okay, I knew that
Might
there
have another student life one, truthfully, closer to the time with more of a general, with dates and things like that. I would say they'll announce it though, but
Right.
I would think that there's going to be something, like mass communication from them. So this is just an easy way for everybody to talk at once, like Cindy said, to
Correct.
answer the same questions for everybody.
So I do have a question for June 22nd, because I'm actually looking at my work schedule as we talk right now. I won't be able to be part of the Zoom. Is there any way, since I have all of you guys on right now, is there any way I can get that information that's going to transpire that day? Because that kind of impacts my daughter, but I have to be at my job. And I can't do this at work.
I think these are being recorded. Dominic, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought they were being recorded and that these chats were maybe something you could access. Is that true?
Yes, all the meetings are being recorded. So again, that PR@Thiel, there's an address in there. If you just click on that, we can send you a video, a YouTube link.
Okay.
I don't want to say yes or no about providing any auxiliary material because I don't know. Most of these have been conversations, so there's not handouts or printed information or PDFs or something that can
That's okay, as long as I have since we're talking today, Dominic, as long as I have some kind of like link that can be sent to my email that I
Certainly.
can click on and I can hear what you guys discuss, because maybe, hopefully, somebody asks the questions, and that's, you know, somebody like me that asks a lot of questions, that I can find out that information. And if not, then obviously there would be a contact name or a number there that I could actually call and talk.
Yep,
Okay.
100%.
Okay, thanks, Dominic. I appreciate that.
Sure thing.
Well, it's a good thing you were here asking a lot of questions. It would have been a very long, quiet hour.
Well, I'm kind of that way, but see, I'm just normally that way anyways, because I ask a lot of questions like at work, because we have a very unique year. And I know Mike McKinney knew that I was going to be asking a lot of questions from a student perspective, being in medicine, like his family is too. There's just so much that's unknown out there right now. I mean, like, I know the students are probably going to say the same things that my coworkers say. When can we get rid of the mask? We can't barely breathe. I mean, we have to wear them for 12 hours, but unfortunately, we're still at that position right now, at least in healthcare. So I'm sure that it will not be an easy transition this semester for students to come back and have to wear a mask, you know, but we got to do what we have to do to protect each other out there.
Correct.
Well, I'd say if there's nothing else, it's a little after 2, and we again I don't want to hold you all up if you have other things to do, but please feel free to contact us if you have other questions or want to talk about something more specific. Kathy, we hope that you come to all of our meetings so that you can keep the thing going for us.
Oh, okay. Well, if anything changes on that Monday, which I just looked, there's like no way. I have to be at a meeting that day and that I'm actually running. So the likelihood that I get to participate is going to be kind of non-existent, but I appreciate that. And a huge thank you out to all of you people who are on the Zoom meeting today. I'll say the same thing I said before. It's very much appreciated. This makes life easier. I can go on with my day now and feel like I was informed. So keep it going, and meetings that can't be, you know, attended to like this by people who let you know, as long as they have the contact way of being able to see what happened, I think it's all good. So keep doing it. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you. You take care of yourself. You keep doing what you're doing. Be safe.
I'm doing my best. Thank you so very much. Have a great day, ladies and gents, everybody on here, and an amazing week. And until the next time, right?
Yep.
Right.
Take care.
Thanks. Take care.